Alright guys, first thing we're going to do in the back is we're going to establish our length, and we're going to cut it probably to about right here. And we're just going to cut this straight across like this, and then we're going to bring everything down to this one point right through here. This is our guideline and basically our base in the back. And we're going to continue to do this throughout the whole back of the head. So when you're done cutting this, and when I'm done cutting the whole back, we're going to come back to this one point here, and then we're going to start to work this in through the corners into here and into the sides. Alright, so the back length is complete in through here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold everything straight out, and I'm going to start to layer it just like this, okay? Now remember, we're leaving the length, as much as the length as we can throughout the top and also the back, because he does have it kind of going back like this. So you want to make sure that you are maintaining a good amount of the length, but you also want to layer it as well to give it a little bit of shape and movement, and also so that it tapers down into the nape a little bit. You don't want it too heavy throughout the bottom. As you start to cut this, you're going to see it's going to start leaving kind of like a little bit of a ridge, which is normal because we have to go back in and finish blending it. So don't get freaked out if you see any sort of lines, any sort of ridge or anything like that. It's totally normal, okay? So we're combing it straight out. Everything is pretty much 90 degrees, which means it's straight out from the head, which is the way it grows here throughout the back. And we're gonna just continue to do the entire back just like this. As you can see, combing it straight out. And the last section right here, right into the corner, we're gonna pull it a little bit towards us, and then we're good to go. Now, see, it leaves a little bit of a ridge, and that's totally fine, because what we have to do now is come back in and connect the bottom. So there's that part that needs to come off right in through here, which will eliminate it. So we're basically just tapering it and blending it in, and there's that piece right in through the bottom that needs to come off, okay? Once you cut that, then you've got a solid blend and a flow, as you can see right in this one section here, that you get rid of that. If you want, you can come in like this and cut over your fingers this way, whatever's more comfortable for you. But as you continue to do this, what's going to happen is you're going to start to see that the line goes away because you're then blending it in, okay? And don't forget to go throughout section by section throughout the back to make sure it's all blended, because that's the key. So finish this up here, and then once we're done with the back, we'll then move into creating the length and the layers on the side. Alright, so now we're going to be cutting the length into the sides, and what you want to do is you want to leave a little bit of length. Now again, this is a mannequin, so it acts a little bit differently than how it would on a human. So, sorry, just wiping some of the water. So we want to cut this a little bit longer than what we probably would if it was on a person, a live model. So we're cutting it there. Remember, this all has to go back, okay? So as you can see, what happens is wants to grow forward because of the way it is. So we're going to have kind of a hard time brushing it back, but that's kind of the idea, is to have this long enough to where it goes back, okay? So we're cutting this halfway down the ear like this, and we're going to bring everything to this one point just like that, and we're going to cut it straight off, okay? We're going to keep it relatively simple. Everything comes down to here. We're going to hold it with our comb just like this, and we're cutting straight across, okay? Again, so now this comes into the front. This is crucial. You don't want to cut this too short, because once you do, it's too late. So you want to comb this back and bring it around this way so you have a little extra length to work with, all right? Just like that, see? And if you cut this too short, then it's going to pop up this way. So you want to leave that length into there, that it goes back just like this, okay? Now for the corner right in through here, there's our layer from underneath, which we had cut previously. And now we're just going to connect the sides right in through that corner into the back just like that, okay? There we go. It all goes back nicely. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then what we'll do is we'll layer the top a little bit, and then we'll almost be done. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to layer the top, and what we're going to do is bring everything, again, straight out from the head. We're going to continue to follow the head shape, because that's going to give the best cut and the best blend overall. So we're literally pulling everything straight out from the head and just following completely around this way. Body position is definitely always important. You want to make sure that your elbows are, parallel and they're straight. They're not bent down like this. I see a lot of people bending down. You want to make sure that you keep your elbows very, very tight and very straight. When you hold your elbow up this way, pointing to the sky, you're cutting shorter to longer. So you want to keep everything kind of in line with following the head shape and keeping everything well balanced. Now we're going to jump onto this side here. And as you can see again, I'm bringing everything straight out from the head. And that's going to keep everything really, really even, and it's going to keep it very consistent with your shape. Now we're working on the corners into here, which we'll get to. Now for the very top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this now from the back, which we just cut, working in through the top. There's our piece where we left off, right there. And that's going to be used as our guide to connect. Because you don't want to hold it straight up like this. If you hold it straight up and cut it across, you're going to create another line. So I always use this technique to blend in going this way. Then once I have that guide where it's connected and blended from the back into the top, then I can hold everything horizontally and straight up and cut it straight across, which is what we're going to do now. So we'll take our section right like this, right down the middle. We're going to hold it straight up, just like that, and we're cutting it off. Now we're probably leaving the top of the head, probably I'd say a good 5 inches or so, maybe even 6, just like that. As you can see, it's almost like a little more than, probably 3/4 of the length of the comb, like this. I have a little bit of a longer comb here, but I'd say it's probably at least 5 inches or so as far as the length on top. Holding everything straight up, and since we cut the top already, when we cut the sides, we brought it back. Probably not going to have much to cut in the very, very front, just a little bit, just like that. Now to keep things going, since we're on a roll here, we're going to work into the corners and to the sides. So again, we're combing it straight out, and we're cutting now into the bottom here, and we're keeping everything very even and consistent. You want to have a nice overall blended shape throughout the whole thing. Now because he has this particular style, on a little bit of the longer side, there's no clippers involved, it's not super, super short, it's best to keep things very even and very well balanced throughout this entire haircut. And this front, which we cut already, if you want, bring this back. If there's any sort of pieces that need to be kind of blended, then now's the time to do it. And obviously you can see there's not much. The same thing on the other side. I like to stand this way, okay, because I'm now facing the mannequin. And actually, let's turn the head this way so you guys can see. My chest is facing this way, so you have to turn your body around. This way you're getting a good angle on the whole thing, and you're seeing it from a different perspective. If you throw your arms over this way, it puts you in a very uncomfortable position, and I don't really like doing that, and I don't suggest doing it. So you just change body position and simply turn around, okay? So this is pretty much it, and let's get into the blow drying. All right, guys, so this is one way of how Leonardo DiCaprio has his hair, because in the film, a lot of times he's, running around, especially towards the middle, towards the end, a lot more water involved, and his hair is like this. So this is what it looks like with just kind of water in it. As you can see, it kind of goes back and then tapers down in through the bottom and through here. Okay, going around this side. So here's the length in the back. Again, it's probably about, I'd say 4 to 5 inches, and then tapers down to about, I'd say 1.5 inches into the very, very bottom like this. The length in the side here is about, I'd probably say to the middle of the ear, just on this particular mannequin. The top, probably about 5.5 to probably 6 inches most. And as you can see, it kind of goes back to front, comes down to, I'd probably say like the chin or so, to the lip, right into here if you bring it straight down like this. But when you bring it over, it comes down to the lip right into here, okay? So this is one way. And then I'm going to show you the second way of how he had it, which was all